I guess I'll do the introduction. What's up, YouTube? We're gonna do a double deck profile of the cross. We're gonna have both of our decks simultaneously going back and forward on our choices of what we're gonna run and stuff.
Yeah, it's because we both play the deck, but we both play the deck slightly differently.
And this way we don't have to make two videos.
Yeah. Anyway, so for my starter, it's Dragonic Sadig, or however you want to pronounce it. This is the one from set 14. If you guys don't know what it does, when your opponent's rearguard is put into the drop zone by one of your card effects, you can shove this card into the soul, and your opponent chooses one of their rearguards and retires it. So it's basically like a 2-for-1 kind of thing.
And I like my red pulse because I like to search grade 3s and Commander Arrow Best Buddy of Aquaforce.
Yeah,
Same thing.
I don't, me personally, I don't like the red post because it's 4K and it can just not work sometimes. I like the guaranteed 5K boost.
It's some true facts right there, where
Yeah.
people can easily block this for no pass turn 1 and you get a crit, you just waste it.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, on to the trigger lineup. I run 8 crit, all different crits.
Just show you my 7 crits, because I actually only run 7, all different as well.
Yeah.
Because we're cool.
I run 4 draws, 4 Gatling Claws, because killing starters is very necessary, like Judge Bow.
I run 3 Gatling Claws, and I like the 2 RPs just in case for the final turn pushes, and it's easy to get to soul for like wyverns and stuff.
Yeah, the reason why I don't run any arc peaks is because I personally don't find the plus 3,000 useful. And then just 4 heals, all different heals.
I think we're running the same heals.
Yeah, we're running the same heals.
It's a female.
Because we don't like Genjo, apparently.
It's true. I mean, I like shirting.
Yeah, shirting, I think. Yeah, the Seal Dragon one.
But Mother Orb is
Yeah.
better.
But for the grade 1s, we both run 3 Gojo.
Drop and draw.
Yeah, it's basically drop and draw, because this is still a Legion deck, so it's very good. I run 3 Lava Flows, one of which is signed.
I run 2.
It's very beautiful.
There's a card I'm running in place of this.
Yeah,
You'll see
anyway,
later.
Both of us, we don't feel like striding is like necessary in this deck, because you are technically a restanding Vanguard, so you would always want to like pressure. But it's still a 7K boost, so it's still good, and just it's there in case we ever like need to.
If we need to stride.
Yeah, for like in certain matchups, it's.
And if we don't want to pitch one of our 3s that we want to use later for skills or something.
Yeah. I run 2 Calamity Towers and one Grom.
I run.
Whereas he runs 3 at 3 and 1.
This card I've been running at high numbers since I started using it.
We both run Grom because damage on flipping is rather important.
But you don't need that many.
Yeah, you don't need that many, but it's still kind of important. And,
it's an option.
And the Calamities just still give the.
And then there's
the draw.
The combo, of course, when you ride the X over already Legion the X, you Soul Blast the 2 grade 3s, and then you Legion back the 2 3s and like 2 triggers, and then you Legion with one of the 3s and probably add the other 3 back to your hand, usually, or just search the other one. But so basically you're getting the same amount of cards and cycling through your deck. And I like Wyvern a lot because it also combos with Red Pulse, where you can immediately use the grade 3 search, call it behind the grade 2, and then draw a card. And that's the other reason why I like it.
And I run 4 Perfect Guards, whereas
I use the 4G Perfect Guards.
He runs these. The reason why I run the Perfect Guards and not Protect Orbs is for 2 reasons. 1, it's because I don't have 4 Protect Orbs. And 2, it's mainly for in case I play the mirror match. Because in the mirror match, the end will most likely go off, and you don't want it to go off.
Because they're gonna be plussing hard, and that's why I fear the mirror match, because this will only help me on the Vanguard.
And that's also why I do run the ground, because like I said, damage on flipping is important, whereas the Protect Orbs can just unflip damage, but but I just like the regular perfect guards because I can just guard my rear guards. Anyway, on to the
Oh
grade
well,
2s.
actually, there's
Oh,
one. The last grade 1. I I just like this card. It's basically sometimes it's a 7K booster, sometimes it's another front row. If I have the 7K in front, it's basically like another grade 2 or just a grade 1 booster whenever I need it to be.
oh
But
yeah.
it's just
If
kind
you
of
don't know what it does,
it's a
it's a 10K
10K
attacker for
for
Overlord.
Overlord, and pretty much everything in your deck is an Overlord at grade 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you could use it as like a turn 3 attacker. So grade 2s, I run 3 Burning Horns because I only have 3 and I've only felt the need for 3. Oh, well, here's the 4th.
Here's a
No,
sad child who
just-
has currently 1 Burning Horn. I had a playset, sold them, decided to build the deck, has to get them again. Some friends said they have and they'll get them to me sooner. So in the place of Burning Horns, technically I'm running these, and there's
You
an...
should be running Nahalamas because Nahalamas are better even though they do the
I'm too
exact same
poor, so I had to get the ones from the recent
Yeah.
set, you know?
thing. He's too poor, but yet I said I'll give him Nahalamas, but that's beside the point.
And then I would actually be running 4 Burning Horns, by the way, in my normal build.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And for Neoflames, Neoflame is a very good card. It destroys it can destroy columns by itself. It combos with the X if you retire.
And it can combo a Burnout, both of them
Yeah.
can...
But it's just a very good card. It prevents your opponent from rushing you, I guess.
Me personally, though, I am running normally 3 of these in place of 1 more Burning Horn, but for the time being, we're using the 4. At least I am.
And then 4 Burning Horns, 1 of which is SP.
Not same.
Not same. But yeah, Burnout is a very good card. One thing I have to say about this card, because I've noticed a lot of people don't correctly use this card. Now, the skill reads, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Kagero Vanguard, you may choose an Overlord in its card name from your drop zone and then put it to the bottom of the deck. If you've done that, then you may pay the cost, which is a Soul Blast, to retire a rear guard. The thing I see people doing is they either Soul Blast first and then put an Overlord back to the drop zone, which you're not supposed to do, or they Soul Blast an Overlord and they put that same Overlord back in the deck, which you're not supposed to do. So I really have to stress that in case other people are playing this deck.
And if you do see that, you can call them out on that and be a real shark about that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and because I don't run 4 Burning Horns, I do play the 1 Bellicosity because, like I said earlier, unflipping damage is important. Because most likely if you're in Legion with the end, they're not gonna always let it hit, so you could just stack triggers on this and then just keep unflipping your damage. And then we both play for the X or the Cross, however you want to call it. It's a very good card.
The multiplication.
We're not
Yeah.
cool enough to have SPs
Yeah,
of it.
we're not cool enough to have SPs because
No one really
nobody
pulled
has
it. No one
pulled
we know has
SPs.
actually pulled it. We've seen 2 Saint Blows. We've seen like Vic Plasma, Vic Plasma. We've seen
But
everything.
if we had the money
Almost.
to get SPs, we would get at least 1, because you have to have like an SP because it's very good.
There's not much to say about this
Yeah,
card.
there's
It's
not
good.
much to say about this card. It legions with the N, which is a very good card, and there's not much to say about this except it's a good card and you should be running 4. Now I run 4 the N's, whereas he only runs 3. We both have 1 SP.
Except
So,
mine's not as
yeah,
cool.
but-
That was mine at one point.
Yeah, it was his, but he gave it to me. But the reason why I run 4 the ends is because the way I play this deck, I always force out my opponent to no guard, or just force out a lot, and I go all on the Vanguard if they 2 to pass. So I will always try to get the ends restand off.
I mean, I do the same thing, but I'm just not as good as it. I only broke a 2-trigger pass with the N, with the X Legion once.
Yeah, it's true.
Once.
Whereas I almost always break through and I always get the restand.
I'm not cool enough, so I have to
So
run
he
one the
plays the
Great.
one the great.
It's just kind of a nice end game card because the way I play it is you keep abusing the Legion and then like the Grom or the Wyvern to keep soul blasting to thin your deck until you get to a smaller portion of your deck, and then you go into the X, just Legion back your triggers and maybe the Neoflame if you ran out, and you just have almost an entire deck of triggers to just stack on the Great and your rear guards. That's the way I like to see it.
Yeah. Also, if uh, uh, through sorry, I haven't tested this deck against like a lot of things, but if I ever felt the need to play the one the great, I will just take out one and put the one the great in. But just as of right now, I really like the 4.
That's pretty much the main deck
Yeah,
anyway.
that's the main deck. And just as for the
Our Yu-Gi-Oh
generation-
deck on the
yeah,
side.
our extra deck for all the people who play Yu-Gi-Oh. I play 4 Malmuds.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't run 4 Malmud
Yeah,
because
I wouldn't run 4. I would run
so
like 3.
basically, my deck at this very moment in time is OCG legal, so it's not running the Mixed Clan right now. I was actually playing it with Mixed Clan before earlier, but for this deck profile, I'm just going like this. And there's not much to say about that.
Yeah,
'cause
but if you don't know what this card does, it's when the attack hits a Vanguard, you retire one of your opponent's rear guards. So it does it does apply pressure. And I run 1 Root Flare only because I have one. I only have the 1.
I mean, they cost money.
So I only have the 5 cards in my generation.
I do own 4, but I'm very highly dropping or considering dropping this to 2 because rarely do I stride.
Yeah, like we said
So
earlier in the
this
video, we don't find a need to stride in this deck because you are a restanding Vanguard, but if you ever do need to stride, which we rarely do,
it's usually into the Maul mode. But like earlier, like I was in a tournament and I was using Ragnarclocks and Vic Plasmas instead because they're so much better.
Because it's we don't have the clan fight yet, so we are able to play other
and
things.
honestly though, this card is nice, but right now it doesn't do much.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like unless you're just playing a lot of Nova Grapplers, but if you do play a lot of Nova Grapplers, the X should
be enough to pressure them out their field
with
and
its Persona Blast.
Not,
So
yeah.
Root Flare shouldn't really.
Especially if they're running the new G perfect guards, because you can't stop the X on a rear guard attack other than by guarding with 0s and 1s that aren't perfect guards, which makes it a lot harder, and you plus and you kill their field.
Yeah, and I play the 1 Atmos.
I run 2 to fill up the rest of my
Yeah,
G zone.
For the other 2 cards in mine, because I don't have more Root Flares, I run 1 Kieran and 1 Mystery Flare.
Since we technically can.
Since we technically can, but since I usually don't stride, I usually just use these 2 as GSS fodder.
That's kind of just all we have to really say. I mean, like, for now, though, until the 30th, I would totally advise using Victoplasmas and Ragnarclaws. Those are really good.
Until we get the clan fight rules, you should not be playing 4 of this. You should be playing, like Gablades, Ragnarclocks.
Even just the Lost Age is kind of a tech, just if you're depending on what you're playing against. Because it also does prevent them from legioning if you hit. At least adding 1 card to the drop where, because this is a retire, it goes to the drop zone, whereas Lost Age would put it to the bottom. It's 1 less card to legion with, if you want to see it that way.
But that's only until we get the clan fight.
Yeah, this card is probably not going to be as good until a set 2, because there's not a lot of things to kill at the moment that are worth killing. And that's pretty much our decks. See it.